EJ, come out here really quick.
Cut it. We can cut it. I forgot there might be kids here. So I usually come out and I try to get everybody to sing, but I realized there's no kids here though. They're doing it. See? They fucking got it. They got it. All right. Little man, put that shit in my hand. If that money doesn't show, then you owe me, homie. Fuck yes. I usually, that's a gauge for me. Thank you. A gauge to see how many people are like, all right, I know his shit. I can tell there's some people here like, fuck, we're just waiting on the next guy. Fuck. I don't want to listen to this fool for another 45 minutes. I could tell. It's okay though. I'll make it quick. I don't know what to say here besides, this is amazing for me. Thank you. See, it's funny because I'm always like, I don't want moderators. I don't want to sit with the Mallrats panel. Fuck them. It's to be honest, it's more about, I feel like if there's like 8 of us up here, I feel like if I'm up here, I'm going to start wanting to answer everyone's questions. And there's only a little limited amount of time. And you guys can see me so many places compared to Jason Lee or Saplee. Like I'm fucking on Twitch and I'm always doing cons. I'm at comedy clubs. So a lot of people here I'm sure have seen me, or Kevin and I toured for fucking 10 years. So I've talked a lot, answered a lot of questions for most people. So I'm always like, I just want to do my own thing because I'm sure people want to ask Lee questions or Saplee questions because they're not out in the world as often as I am. Anyway, that being said, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for sitting here. Who's up after me? I could tell. Is there some people waiting on the next person? Who's the next person? Does anyone know?
We're not allowed
Fletch, Chevy Chase. Oh, Flash. I was like, Fletch is coming on this motherfucker? Holy shit. Wow. But the Flash, who's here from the Flash? The actual Barry Allen's not here, is he? Damn. Everyone, elongated man? No? Because he got off the show by the end, right? Didn't he? That sucks. Is the young lady here for Flash's Iris West? She's very nice. I met her at a con once. Anyway, that's awesome. Flash is so much fun. I was in the Flash. See, so you get Mewes, and I was in the Flash 2 episodes, if anyone doesn't know that. I was in Zombie Girder episode. And then we were in an episode where Kevin and I played the security guards for Star Labs. So much fun. It was so surreal for me. I remember getting there and they were like, look at this fool, because I got there and I was like, oh my God, there's the fucking, and then, oh my God, there. And I was taking pictures with everything and they're trying to work and stuff. And I could tell they were just like, oh my goodness. Anyway, guys, if anyone has questions for me, I usually just say, what's up? Thanks for being here. Hopefully someone questions you have and I can answer some things so we can get the ball rolling. Does anyone hopefully have questions? If not, I could put on a dancing show. Go ahead, there you go. And if you don't want to get up, it's small enough. You guys can yell if you're like, hey, I don't feel like getting out of my seat to ask you something. But thank you.
Cool. What's up? My name's Sean from New York.
What's up, Sean? I love the blunt man. I love it.
He wasn't here, so I figured I'd come be your other half.
I love it. Yeah, you should just stay at my table with me all weekend. We'll be like fucking back to back and shit. I'm like.
So my question is, I know that you had to actually audition to play yourself in the first Clerks movie. So like, what was that like, or like, what would it have been like if you hadn't have gotten to play yourself?
So I didn't have to audition for Clerks. So Clerks is again, I feel like I'm sure some people might not know even any of my movies, but Clerks is the first movie we did. It was an indie movie that Kevin wrote. Kevin and I went to the same high school together. We grew up in the same town. He's 4 years older than I am, so we didn't really hang out when I was like 10, 11, 12. When I was 13, I started going to this community center where Kevin graduated high school and started working at. And if anyone's seen Comic Book Men or listened to Tell 'em Steve Dave, Walt Flanagan, Brian Johnson worked there, and so did Kevin. And the 3 of them would hang out and talk about comic books. And they'd be laughing and drawing and doing all this shit, not supervising any of the kids, right? And I remember 13-year-old Jason Mewes goes up, and I'm like, yo, what are you guys doing over here, man? You look like you're having fun. They're like, get out of here, kid. We're doing man shit. And I'm like, whoa, what's this man shit you doing? They're like, we're reading comic books. I was like, oh, shit, right? And remember, this is fucking 30, almost 40 years ago. So, and I was like, wow. I was like, man, let me get some of those. I want to know more. And just so I would leave them alone, Walt Flanagan gave me like 8 old comic books he had. And I went home and I read them and I fell in love. And from there, I started like every day at the community center. I'd be like, yo, man, you have any more comics? Like, when are you going to the store? And they would go to the comic book store and I'd give them money and they'd get me new books and stuff. And I got to know Kevin. Kevin quits, starts working at the convenience store. Quick stop. Then on Sundays, he started being like, hey, bro, I have to get up at 5 in the morning and put the newspaper together. He's like, Walt and Bry won't go with me. They were like, fuck that. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m., you know what I mean? So he's like, I'll give you $5 and you can eat free shit. I was like, I'm in, bro. Right? Like, fucking sign me up, right? So he'd pick me up at like 5:15 in the morning and we'd go to the convenience store and we put the papers together and then we'd sit and watch Degrassi and Silver Spoons. No lie, it was awesome. It was the only thing on TV on a Sunday. And, you know, back in the day, there wasn't cable. It was like fucking 8 channels, 7 channels, right? So we'd watch Degrassi, Silver Spoons, and we started to get to know each other. And he's like, yo, man, you're really funny and have a weird sense of humor. I wonder if other people find you funny, right? And he's like, I wonder if people in Rhode Island find you funny, or Boston, you know. He's like, I've been writing this script, and I'm writing a part for you based on you. And he wrote Jay. And then, like, you know, a year later, he's like, dude, I got $28,000. I'm making this movie. And here's your script. Memorize it and all that stuff. And we filmed Clerks. But I was roofing at this point. I graduated putting roofs on houses. To get the long story short, I didn't audition for Clerks. He wrote that part for me based on me. But then when the movie got bought and now there's a studio movie, Universal Studios was like, hey, we're going to make Mallrats. They were like, hey, man, like this Mewes kid doesn't have any acting experience. He hasn't gone to like acting classes. He hasn't done any movies or shows. We want to like audition people who are like in LA and have been on shows and done movies and all that. So people came out, like Mark Paul Gosselaar came out and auditioned for Jay. Tobey Maguire, no lie. Seth Green, Breckin Myers, yeah. And in the end, they really liked Seth Green. And so Kevin still fought for me, though. He's like, dude, we can't have Seth Green. Like, we need Jay Mewes. It was based on him and stuff. And they're like, well, listen, man, we're not paying for Mewes to go to Minnesota. We're not going to put him in a hotel or give him per diem. We want to wait and see the first day of filming. When you're done, we're going to, because they would film, and then they'd send the film to the studio, and they'd sit in the room and watch the dailies of how everything's going. So, like, we have to make sure that everything goes. So the first day of filming, there was 2 producers there watching me. And it was this scene where I'm like, fly, fat ass, fly, right? It was that scene, the scene in the back where I'm like, do it, Doug. So luckily they revved it up really easy for me, that Kevin like purposely scheduled like the 2 easiest scenes for me to warm up and get comfortable. Because he was worried too, because Clerks, I didn't plan on acting and I was super nervous. Like the first scene we shot was, I was like, Olaf, sing Berserker. Girls think sexy, you know? Kevin's like, cut, bro. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, you got to get into it. Like, yo. But I was so nervous being in front of a camera and everyone was watching me and shit. So, like, I had to get a couple little bottle of blackberry brandy and shit. And then I was like, Stoots to the fucking dude, you know? But I made it through Clerks, but Kevin knew that I was nervous in front of the camera. The studio didn't know that, but Kevin knew it at the same time. So they were there watching me, and we did those. Kevin's like, let's warm him up, being in front of the camera, doing something easy, like one line. Do it, Doug. And then I did the fly, fat ass, fly. And then I had to do the scene, here, kitty, 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 dude. And I'm like, Brody, man, noochie, noochie, you know? And luckily, they sent the dailies away, but they had Seth Green on hold the whole time. And they were waiting and waiting, and finally, like, they got to see the dailies, I filmed the next day, too. I think they watched the dailies for the next day. I shot, like, 1 scene, and luckily, they came back. They're like, oh, my God, Mewes had us cracking up. You know, he's hired, and they finally put me in my own hotel room, and they finally gave me per diem and all of that stuff. So... But it was weird. I mean, I was stressing because I was like, man, I really want this. I really want to, you know, I want to be able to hang out in Minnesota and make a movie, like a real studio movie. And of course, you know, Kevin wanted that too. But yeah, it was stressful because again, it was like I had it like right there. It was like an opportunity that like was fucking like counting on me like being able to perform, and I already was nervous. But again, I just had to be like, look, I have to do this. Even though I'm nervous as fuck, you know, I was like, I have to get through this because if I fuck it up, they're gonna send me home, and then you guys are watching Mallrats with Seth Green in there, right? How weird would that be if he came out, hey, kitty, 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 you know, and he's like, yay! Anyway, but yeah, so thank goodness it worked out. We did that, and then of course Kevin had a little more leeway with Chasing Amy was next, and you know I was only in one scene, but that was a lower budget movie with Miramax that Kevin was like, hey, we're not even audition, like Jay's playing Jay. By the time we got to Dogma, it was good because I had done Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, so Dogma was like a no-brainer. They just threw me in, so.
There we go. Well,
hopefully that answered that question, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. What's up, my friend?
What's up, Jay? I'm Adam again.
Adam, what's up?
That's actually a good lead way because my question is about Dogma. How was it like working with Alan Rickman, the great legendary Alan Rickman, and the great legendary George Carlin? Did you have anything you learned from them or funny memories, fond memories?
Definitely. But like the bummer is with George Carlin. The whole as many times as I got, like, you know, we did Jay and Bob with him, and then we got to do Dogma with him. George Carlin, I was super intimidated by him. So whenever we, like, I wasn't really there when they did a lot of the church things where he was, you know, but whenever I was around him, I was super intimidated. Him and Kevin would talk all about his books. Like, Kevin was a huge George Carlin fan, so whenever they weren't filming and talking about hey, the next scene we're gonna be filming this and we're gonna be doing this, him and Kevin would talk about George's stand-up. Like, Kevin would be like, oh my God, you know, I saw your stand-up, you know, 3 years ago in New York, and it was amazing, and then also his books, and Kevin knew everything about him, and they would just talk about his books, and I didn't have anything to add to the conversation, so I would just stand there and be like, you know, I'd be like, yeah, Kevin, yeah, George. So it's a bummer because I really didn't, he was very nice, but I never interacted with him because I was too intimidated. But super nice guy, super awesome, and I think it's amazing I got to like work with him and meet him and all of that stuff. Alan, before the movie, you know, Kevin, when we were doing Dogma, again, going back to like Mar, he's like, bro, he's like, you know, you got through Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy. He's like, but now we're working with Alan Rickman, bro. He's a serious actor, dude. He's fucking from England, and he's British, and they created acting. He's like, you can't be fucking up and shit and being like, Stooge, oh, fuck, I forgot my line. What am I going to do? Can we go again? He's like, he might get upset and shit. And Kevin got me really nervous about it. And the other part of it was when we went to do Dogma, I had started using drugs at that point. And I had gotten sober, and Kevin's like, you can't leave my side. So for 2 months, thank you. So for like about 2 months, I had to stick with Kevin. He's like, if you want to do this movie, you can't leave my side. So I like went up to Pittsburgh 2 months early because Kevin had to go to Pittsburgh to location scout. He had to go casting and stuff. He had to look at, and there was all the pre-production stuff. And I had to sit in the office with him every day because he's like, oh, you can't go hang out in Pittsburgh because I don't trust you. Like, I want you to make sure you're staying straight on the straight and narrow. So I mentioned that because I was out there for like a month and a half, 2 months with nothing else to do but just sit with Kevin while he did work shit. So I would just read my script over and over and over. And on top of that, Kevin had mentioned Alan and being like, you can't mess up your lines. So I'm like, I'm going to memorize my script so much that I don't even fucking like, it's going to be embedded in my brain. And I just at the time was focusing on memorizing my stuff, right? The Jay lines, all the dialogue that Jay has. But I read it so much, like all of a sudden I realized, like we were in rehearsal and he's like, hey, Lee's gonna, bless you. Lee's gonna be a half hour late, you know, for his part. So he's like, can you read for him? And he's like, go get your script. I'm like, I don't need my script. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't need it. And I literally wound up memorizing the whole entire script and everyone's part because I had read it so much. And because I was so nervous about Alan. So when it came down to it, I knew all my stuff. And I remember the first day we filmed with Alan, we were in this diner scene. He just got the restaurant scene. And he just flew in and stuff, and they were like, oh man, you know, Alan just got off a plane, he's gonna have jet lag and all this and stuff. And we got there, and the first fucking take we did, Alan forgot one of his lines of dialogue. And I was like, look at you fucking Kevin, what the fuck, right? Joking around. But he's like, yeah, but he has jet lag. And that was the only time he did, but it was so awesome because I felt very comfortable at that point because I knew all my lines and I got to work with him, and he was such a nice man. And him and I would, like, when in between takes, he would be like, hey, Jason, how you doing? He would ask about how I was doing and how my day was. He was very engaging and stuff, where I feel like, again, George was super nice, but he never like turned around and was like, hey, how's your day been? What's up? He would just be like, hey, good morning. I hope you had a great day. And again, nice, but not like trying to pull shit out of me. Like, hey, come on, conversate with me. Where Alan did. And so like Kevin has a funny joke that isn't me, but he talks about how they were looking for me because I was up next in the scene. And they were setting up lights and doing all this stuff, and we were at the church. And he's like, yo, where's Mewes at? Where's Mewes? And they're like, he's over there. And they looked over, and me and Alan Rickman were sitting on the church steps talking and stuff, right? And Kevin said, oh, fuck, he's bothering Alan Rickman. What are we going to do? I got to tell Jay. So he said later on, Kevin tells me, and I didn't know this, of course, but after like Alan and I separated, he went up to Alan. He's like, bro, is that Mewes fucking kid bothering you? He's like, if you want, I'll ask him to like stay away from you. And he said that Alan said, no way, Jay is awesome. He's a fucking legend. And he said he's never bothered me. So
Schnoogans.
I was like, fuck yes! So I love it. Kevin tells that story, and it's much better than how I did it, but that's because it was him. He's the one who had that interaction with Alan. But it was great. He was great. Both everyone, honestly, over the years, everybody we've worked with, honestly, has been so pleasant. Or, I mean, some people like Elizabeth Banks, for example, not nice, but just I never got to really chat with her. She'd come out, do her stuff, go into her room. So there's been few actresses or actors that are like that I haven't really I didn't get to really engage with, but no one has been a dick, which is great. Like I never had someone where I'm like, hey man, how's that scene? You're up next, right? And they're like, fuck off, you know? Thank goodness. So everyone has been great. Chris Rock, Craig Robertson, Seth Rogen, like everyone has been so awesome, and it's been so surreal. Over the years, you know, I did my movie, I believe you said you watched it. I directed a movie, Madness in the Method. It was so awesome. Thank you. It was so surreal for me. Like, I was like, man, I want Stan in this movie. Stanley always, whenever we'd see, it's funny because whenever we'd see Stan, like at San Diego Comic Con, and we did that Audi commercial and all this, he'd always be like, yo, Kevin. He'd be like, hey, Kevin's little buddy. And he'd never remember my name, but he would always tell Kevin, hey, Kevin, he's like, when you going to put me in another movie? When you going to put me in another movie? And Kevin's like, well, when I make another movie, I'd love for you to be in it, of course, right? So I was like, he always asked Kevin to put him in a movie. I was like, I'm making a movie. Maybe he'll be in my movie. And I knew his like assistant's number, and I texted his assistant. I was like, hey, I know this is out there. We don't have a lot of money, but is there any way Stan would come be in like a scene in my movie? I'm directing. It's my first directing job. And he wrote back. He's like, bro, he's like, Stan, let me talk to Stan. And then he wound up calling me. He goes, Stan will totally come do it. But the only thing he asks, he could be there by 3, but he has to be out of there by 5 because he doesn't ever miss dinner with his wife at 6 p.m. And I thought that was the sweetest thing. So that was the only thing he asked for. He's like, look, I'll come play. I don't need money, really. And I can, as long as I'm home to eat dinner with my wife, he's like, I'll come. And Stan came and sat and did a scene in my movie. And I thought that was fucking so surreal. So technically, I know he would later, my movie came out beforehand, before Miss Marvel came out, and he was in that scene reading the Mallrats script on the train. But he had filmed my scene after that. So it's like, I feel like blessed that I was the last movie that he was in and stuff like that. He came and hung out and did a movie with. But again, that whole movie too, like, when we reached out to Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher, I was like, Terry Hatcher's never going to do my movie. But Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain came and did it because they're like, Mewes is doing his first directing job. I want to be part of it. And I thought that was super sweet and surreal to me. A bunch of people that were in that movie. So that was a blast. But I don't know why I just went on that tangent. But, but thank you. Sit down.
Jake.
No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I think I answered your question, right? Yes, yeah, thanks. Hello.
Hi, my name's Sherry. I had a quick question. So Jay is obviously built on Jay. If you could recast yourself in any of the movies, which character would you choose?
Oh, so you're saying in all the View Askew movies, if I wasn't playing Jay, but Kevin was like, I want you to be in this next movie.
Yep, who would you play?
Let me think. I mean, I want to say, I feel like Dante's very whiny, right? Both Dante, honestly, too. I want to say, I'm trying to think, because I'd want to be in a lot of the movie, right? So I want to say I'd want to be Randall, but I feel like Jeff sort of gave his own thing to it, and I can't really, it's hard to picture being another character that's already been portrayed so many times. But I guess if I was back then, just for like selfish reasons, reading the script, even though I was nervous and scared, if I was like, I want to be in this as much as I can, I'd probably want to play Randall. Because he's the only one with a lot more dialogue besides the ladies, of course, right? So yeah, I would say that, and then I'd get to be in Clerks 2 and Clerks 3, and right? So, but I doubt I'd be able to do as good a job as Jeff. Well, maybe, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. I want to do a part like fucking Eddie Murphy, where I play every character, right? In makeup. I'm like, yo, come on. I'm like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. And I'm like,
Thank you.
thank you. Are you serious?
Hi, Mr. Mewes. I'm a big fan.
Hi, thank you, sir.
I was curious if you had any new projects you were working on.
I do. So, you silly boy. So, but thank you, because I would have fucking forgot. So thank you. So guys, I'll mention this first and foremost, because I know a lot of you here, Jay, whatever. Hopefully, knock on wood, Kevin and I are supposed to start filming in March. It's not set in stone. But you know, Kevin's mentioned it a few times, and like we have the money, and then we don't have the money. But we're hopefully going to start. Things are looking really good at this point. We're supposed to start Jay and Silent Bob's Store Wars, right? Thank you. One more. I think we can get one more where I'm like, Stooge to the fucking dudes, right? But it's Kevin and I at the end of the Clerks 3. You know, we opened up a dispensary. In this movie, dispensary opens up across the street. And we're like, whoa, what are you doing? This is our turf type of thing. And it's real goofy and fun. And I hope we get to do it because it will be a lot of fun. Bluntman and Chronic are in it. It's awesome. But also right now, so that's something that we're hoping goes. And if everything stays, we start doing that. As some of you might know, February we do Jay and Silent Bob's Cruise Askew. Some of you might be going. Some of you might went last year. So much fucking fun. And I'm going to be doing an excursion where we go in a truck and go out to see some Mayan ruins and stuff. But right now, I've been filming this thing called 5 Things with Jason Mewes, where people come in and they pick 5 things from the convenience store. And 5 things that mean something to them. You know, it could be like, oh my God, they have, Takis. And these Takis remind me of, when they first came out, my mom used to bring these to me when we'd go to the fucking zoo. I don't know, whatever. So, shit like that, right? And it's been really cool. We've had Logic on, Steve-O, Adam Pally, Danny Trejo, Harley Quinn Smith, Kevin's going to be on it. It's been a lot of fun. We're trying to get a couple more guests, and then we're going to try to put it out on YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. But what we're really excited about, my buddy and I, Matt, who's been at my table, if you guys have seen him there, Matthew and I did a pilot episode of this sort of like a podcast talk. Then it was a pilot podcast. Him and I love this show called The Murdoch Mysteries, right? It's a Canadian show. There's 19 seasons right now. And we love it so much. And him and I were talking about it nonstop. Every time we hang out and do these cons together, we'd wind up talking about it. Or I'd call him and be like, oh my God, did you see they had Charlie Chaplin in an episode? Holy shit, you know, shit like that. And so we went up and I got to be in an episode. I'm in an episode in the season 19. I'm in one of the episodes as the character Slippery Bill Watson, as an actor, right? And while we were there, when I was done acting and doing my scenes, we were messing around. We're like, oh, you know, it'd be awesome if fucking like Talkville, you know, Smallville does Talkville, like walkthrough of each season of the show. And we talk about the episode and how much we love it and the inventions and all the cool historical moments and stuff like that. And one of the guys there was like, I love that idea. And like 2 weeks later, we get a call, and they're like, hey, I mentioned it to the network and the head of the studio, and they're very interested. Why don't you come up and shoot a pilot? And we went out and shot a pilot. And we posted it. I posted it on my social media. If you didn't get a chance, please check it out. It's still up there. It's little clips from the Murdoch Mysteries. Matt and I doing it with the main character, Murdoch, Yannick, came in and we interviewed him. But anyway, they liked it so much, and we were like, hey, hopefully we can do episodes 1 through 13, and we just got green-lit, and we're going out in like a few weeks, and we're going to be shooting 13 episodes of this podcast that we're doing. So thank you. I'm super excited about it. You know what I mean? It would be like, I don't know, what is one of your favorite shows here? It's like the Boys, or I don't know, something. What is it? So imagine you were at Mandalorian. You're like, hey man, I want to do a Mandalorian podcast, and Disney was like, bro, I'm gonna give you fucking a podcast, 13 episodes. You get to interview all the cast members on Mandalorian. When you fucking come all over your face, neck, and chest back. Yeah. So anyway, it's very exciting. I'm very, very excited about it. Keep your these things. I would like to direct you to a place to watch right now. Right now, again, the 5 things with Jason Mewes. There's no place to direct you yet because they're gonna make their own. I think they got the YouTube channel. That's 5 things with Jason Mewes, but I'm not 100%. But I'll post it on my social media, which is Jason Mewes on Instagram and all of that, JAYMEWS. And same with Murdoch. When we get all that settled and we know when they're gonna put it out there and where you can listen and watch and stuff, I will definitely post about it. Please watch it, because if a lot of people watch it and like it, then hopefully they'll let us do season 2, season 3, season 4, 19 fucking seasons. Shit, if somehow, some miracle we got to get up to 19, they'll probably be at 20 by then. We're hoping. So again, super excited about it because I love the show and I get to do it. And hey, you're gonna get that Mandalorian podcast. I feel it. He's like, fuck off. What's up, sir?
What's up, Jay? I'm Ryan.
How you doing, Ryan?
2 quick questions. I know you don't smoke weed anymore, and I know Kevin had an infamous time period there where he really became a pothead. Was there ever a time when you guys were both smoking weed and actually smoked weed together?
Yeah. It's funny because it's crazy because in the way back during Clerks, I would constantly be like, bro, let's smoke. He's like, I don't fucking do. You know, he really wasn't into it. Yep. But he did. There was times, I would say maybe, in my head what I remember, because it's so long ago, I want to say 10 times. It could be a couple less. It could be 15. But no more than like 15 times I can imagine him and I smoked some hash together. For some reason, he didn't want to smoke weed, like joints, but he would smoke hash. Back then, hash was really big in Jersey, and I would be able to find hash, and we'd smoke it out of a can, right? And he would smoke in the cooler with me, so we have smoked together. Yep. But we never really, it was always like when he was working and I was stocking the shelves, and when he'd come back and take a few hits, and it was fun, don't get me wrong. But of course, when he finally for years I'm smoking, and he didn't. And then of course, when I stop years later, he starts doing it, and I don't anymore. Yeah. And again, the weed is so different. I can't even. I haven't smoked, even though I've been sober 15 years. July was 15 years. Thank you. But before that, I had about 4.5 years sober, and then I relapsed. But when I relapsed, that year and a half to 2 years, I'd say, let's say 2 years to make the math easy for me. I never smoked. I winded up just doing opiates, right? Like I relapsed and I was doing painkillers, and I'm like, as long as I don't do smoke crack and do heroin, I'm okay. And I like fooled myself for a long time, but I never smoked weed and I didn't drink. So when I relapsed, the point in mentioning it is I have 15 years, I had almost 5 years, and then 2 years in between that. So I literally have not smoked in about 22 years since I smoked weed. So I haven't had any of this nice crystals. You know, we have our own J.M. Bob's Berserker. We just came out with
I've had it. It's good stuff.
and we have the Jeter one now. We came out with the Jeter Donut, which is really good, guys. And we're coming out with another one. We're coming out with vapes and another dude called Banana Hammock. And it tastes like banana Skittles. Like banana, not banana Skittles, but remember those little banana candies?
The Runts.
Yes, Runts, thank you. It has an aftertaste of Runts. And I only know that not because I smoke, but that's what my wife and Kevin both said. They're like, this sort of tastes like aftertaste is like Runts, because they did taste testing and shit. It was really cool because I got to be part of it. And I didn't smoke, but we went up to the Jeters, and they all passed around like these different flavors. And I never even thought of this. I don't know why, but they're like, take a dry hit of it. You don't have to smoke it, but take a dry. So I took a bunch of dry hits of like pre-rolls. And I was like, oh my God, I never thought of this. Like if I wanted to say like, hey, what does this taste like? It's J.M. Bob's, you know, but I don't know what it tastes like or anything. So I got to dry hit it, and you could sort of still get the taste a little bit. Anyway, that's coming out soon as well. So the answer is, though, long story short, we have smoked, but I wish we've like smoked like, there's no memories of me and him like smoking, being like, yo, let's watch fucking, you know, Fast Times at Richmond High, bro, you know. It was always like us at work and me being like, please, come on, just one hit, take a hit. And he's like, oh, fuck. Anyway.
One last thing. Since Kevin infamously has gone vegan, have you ever considered it?
Vegan? There's no way. I could never. Vegetarian,
Who can do
vegan,
it?
I couldn't. I'm trying to eat better right now. I'm gonna eat fucking salad and chicken all the time. Like, I just can't imagine trying to. I have trouble finding something a little bit healthier to eat. Like when we get done at these, I'm always like, Matt, let's go grab food, you know? And he'll be like, I'm gonna go get steak, and I'm not a big fan. I like steak, but not that much. And I'm like, well, what else is there? And I'm like, oh, well, fuck, it's midnight. We got Whataburger, fucking White Castle, Sonic, like, so then I wind up eating like 2 fucking doubles, you know,
Just give him
onion
Impossible
rings.
Whopper, Jay.
I just say I can't imagine, and I can't imagine only eating those things, but I also feel like I'm too lazy to try to figure it out. Like, I can barely figure it out now, right? Like, I'm like, I better watch my cholesterol. I should eat better. And I'm like, fuck, there's only Sonic open. I'll take it. Right? So.
Hi, Jay.
Yes, hello.
Maybe I'm just not cool or I missed something along the way, but where did Snoochie Boochies come from?
So Snoochie Boochies came from, you're cool, bro. I fucking love you. Snoochie Boochies came from the time when Kevin was writing the script. Back then Kevin and I didn't really hang out on the regular. So again, I would work with Kevin and we got to know each other. But me and my friends, the guys I would hang out with on a daily basis that were my age, we would go around and I was super obnoxious. And you know, like I would do weird shit. Like if someone had like a slice of pizza, I would smack it out of their hand, which is such an asshole thing to do. And I stopped doing that after I. But that's just me telling you an extreme of my obnoxiousness. Or I'd be like, yo, dude, I just saw your mom's bunghole and I put my finger in it. Instead of being like, I'm just kidding, man, I'm just kidding, I would go, meh. And I would be like, yo, man, I saw your mom's breast when she bent over, meh. Right? And then it turned into nooch, you know? And I was like, I'm just nooch, you know? So it turned from just kidding. I didn't want to say just kidding. I would say nooch. And so that's where it came from. But I would say it nonstop because I was so obnoxious. I'd be like, bro, I saw your mom's tits. Oh my God, I saw your girlfriend's asshole. Nooch, nooch, you know, and it would be like nonstop, right? And so Kevin, then it became Snooch to the Nooch. And Kevin just wrote it in there. He's like, you say this all the time. I'm writing this into the script. So yeah, and at this point now it's been so many years and different, like, I'm not that obnoxious now because now I'm like, someone would come up and you're like, you're an adult, #me too, you know? So, I don't say it as much. So now it really could mean anything. I'd be like, yo, I just put my snooch in your nooch. But that's how it started. It meant just kidding.
Right on.
Thank you.
And is Kevin just the only hockey fan, or are you guys all hockey fans?
I mean, Walt, Brian, Kev, they're really big hockey fans. They used to go to like Devils games weekly. Like when they were playing and they got tickets, they'd go up to see the Devils play. We all liked playing hockey. All of us all the guys that hung out at the community center that I mentioned, Walt, Brian, Kevin, and myself, and there was other people. We took the tennis courts at the community center we were at, and we put boards all around the bottom, and we put pads around the poles for the tennis things, took the net down, and we would sit and play rollerblade hockey in there every day. So I liked playing hockey, but I've never been like watching Devils game. I would go to Devils games and enjoy them, but I'm saying I could never be like number 22, Mark Twain. I don't know players' names, and I don't like keep up on it. Kevin does. I don't know if he still does, but he was really into it. Walter was the really big one. Brian too liked it, but Walter was the guy who was super into hockey and the Devils, super into comic books. Like Walter, I feel like sort of got Brian and Kevin into it, who got me into it and all of that. But all that group that I'm mentioning, we all like hockey, but they really like hockey, so.
All right, well, if you ever need a goalie, give me a call.
Thank you. I love it. I cannot imagine playing now. I feel like I'd get like 3 feet and be like, and I'd get hit. You know what? Recently, I brought my kid rollerblading, right? I feel like I'm pretty good, actually, right? I can like skate backwards, and I like bring my kid, and my kid's always like, we had her birthday party there, and all her little 10-year-old friends were like, oh my God, your dad's so good, and it made me feel cool. I was like, yeah, look at this old motherfucker, right chair, right? And so we started going weekly, and she loved it. My kid got pretty good. But one day my wife called me, and it was on the table, and we were by the snack place, and the floor is like real slick, and it was wet. And I went to grab my phone, and my skate slipped out, and I fell on my back. And why I mention that is because I remember as a kid, like I would get body checked, and you fall, and you're like, ow, and for like 2 days, you're like, fuck. This shit was like a month, right? And I got scared. I thought I broke my tailbone or something. And I went and got scanned. They're like, no, it's just bruised, but you're older now, and it takes a month instead of 3 days to heal, right? So I can't imagine playing hockey because I feel like one wrong hit, I'd be like, oh, fuck, shit. I'll see you in 3 months, kids, It's crazy. It's the one thing I notice more than anything of me being 51 now is that. Like, I realize, like, when you get hurt, it doesn't heal as fast, right? My hair doesn't grow as fast. My wiener doesn't stay as fucking... Anyway, sorry. Sorry, kids. Next.
Hi, I'm Shauna.
Hello.
I'm Lena.
Hi.
And we were wondering, what has been your most favorite movie that you've been in?
Mallrats.
Awesome.
So I gotta say, Jay and Bob comes to a close second because again, I was the at that point I was like, oh my God, I'm the lead, like my name's in the title, I'm the lead guy, and I was in every scene. Yeah. We got to hang out with an ape a bunch, right? Will Ferrell was awesome. I mean, Will Ferrell was so amazing. Yeah. He had one of my favorite moments in all the movies I made. I'll tell that story in a minute. Because how are we doing on time? Say what? 10 minutes, great, all right. But Mallrats for me is like, again, it was that thing where it was like, it went from me being at the convenience store and I would work my normal job, so would Kevin. At night, they would close the shutters. That's why the shutters are stuck. Because they couldn't have the light. It's supposed to be daytime, and if we're filming at 10 p.m. at night and to midnight till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, it would be dark out, right? So they say the shutters are closed. This way we only had to shine light through the doorway or whatever. That's what Kevin thought of that, or Dave Klein anyway, the DP. So during that movie, I would work all day, come and film all night, and I was super nervous. Like I said, in front of the camera, I'm like, oh my God, snooch to the douche, So I didn't really enjoy it because it was like, Kevin would be like, come on, bro, and it was filmed too, so we couldn't do like 20 takes and be like, one of them's I'm gonna get it right. It'd be like, look, film is expensive when we don't have money. So we would do maybe 4 takes at the most, I feel like. Maybe 5 was really stretching it. So I really had to try to pull it off. So I was so focused on being nervous, trying to get my lines right and all of that, and working all day, waking up. So I didn't really enjoy it that much, to be honest. And then when we were done, we were wrapped, we did it. I went back to roofing, and Kevin went off editing on a steam back, which is like a razor blade and scotch tape and shit. Took months. I don't know. Kevin would know, but I want to say it took 6 months or 5 months, whatever, to edit it. And I just went on and didn't know anything about it. I wasn't like, well, how's it going, bro? Like, what's going on today? Are we going to get... and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, man, we're done with the movie. We're going to screen it. And we all watched it in the video store. And then I was like, it came out great. And then he started submitting it to film festivals and all of that. And it just went on. And I just was in my own world. I was 17. I didn't know anything about movies, think about any movies. And then all of a sudden he came home. He's like, oh, my God, fucking Miramax bought Clerks in Sundance and shit. And they here's $1,000. And I was like, fuck yes, I'm rich, you know. But also he's like, hey, they're going to give me a 3-picture deal. We're going to make 3 more movies, and I'm going to write Jay and Bob in them again. So I was like, all right, cool. But still didn't think about it because it took months for them to get the script together and where we're going to film in Minnesota and all that stuff. So my point is like I still went on like really, but then all of a sudden it's like I'm in Minnesota. After they said, okay, no more Seth Green, you got the part. Thank you. Now all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, we're making a movie, and I'm 19, and there's wardrobe, and there's stunt guys, and they gave me $300 a week per diem. And I was like, what's this for? I can wipe my ass with it. But they're like, that's spending money while you're here. And I was like, that's fucking awesome, because I had no idea they gave you money to, like, spending money besides your check. But also I got stunt bumps. I remember beating up the Easter Bunny, and the stunt guy came over, he handed me $200 cash. I was like, whoa, bro, what's this for? I didn't drop this. He's like, you just got a stunt bump. I was like, wait, what? He's like, you did your own stunt? I was like, sign me up, I'll do every fucking stunt, brother. I was like, you want me to fucking jump off the roof? I'm down, you know? But I didn't know, but for a 19-year-old kid, I was like, this is fucking awesome. So I'm getting stunt bumps, and I met Stan Lee for the first time, which blew my mind, because that's how Kevin and I met, over comic books. Walter being like, get out of here, kid, here's fucking some comic books. And now I'm meeting Stan Lee, the man and shit. Got to hang out with Jason Lee and Ethan, who were so nice, and I had so much fun with them. It's so crazy. We'd run around the mall, and we'd go in stores and all that. Plus, I was 19, and I was fucking single, and I wasn't an alcoholic yet. I guess maybe I was, but I didn't black out. I could drink a couple beers, I could smoke a couple doobies, and I was single, so I was like, hip hip Dugan, hip hip Dugan, hip hip Dugan, hip hip Dugan, one of those, and you know. But I had so much fun. It was such a new world. It's like, oh my God, I'm making movies. I just feel like I can never get that feeling back again, because it was like all new and awesome and surreal to me. But again, all the other movies are great, but then the next one was Chasing Amy, which again was in Jersey. So I already lived there, and I just went to the diner, and we shot the scene, and then I went back to real life. And then Dogma we did, which was awesome, don't get me wrong. But Strikes Back was awesome, because now I still live in Jersey, but now we're in LA, and we're at CBS Radford, this studio lot. So we would run around with golf carts, we would drive around the lot, because there was hey, we're going to have this set here, and then across the studio, there's another set, and then there's the offices where they're doing all the prepping and wardrobe fittings and stuff. So, and I was just there every day with Kevin, because we were in every scene. So again, Jay and Bob is very close to it, but I feel like the nostalgia and the feeling I got that first time, right? It was like, I'm not a virgin anymore, right? Is that feeling, right? No, but I don't know. So Mallrats is my favorite one to make, but Jay and Bob's very close second, so. Thank you. That answered that, right?
Thank you. Oh, yes.
All right, so wait, I said I was going to get into another story. Did I tell it? Sorry, I'm going to tell you this. You can sit, though. You can sit. So my favorite moment ever in all the movies that always stands out to me is we're shooting Strikes Back, And when we were doing it, so the routine is you get the set, you got your trailer, you put your clothes and bag in there, and they say, okay, your wardrobe's hanging up in your thing, go get hair and makeup. They're available, they're waiting for you. So I'd go in the hair and makeup trailer, and everyone had to do the same thing. But around that time, that song came out from Shaggy. So they call me in the shower, wasn't me. And they call me in the bathroom, wasn't me, right? And I loved it. I loved that song, and there was 2 other songs that were right after that song. So I'd come into the hair and makeup trailer, pull out the CD, and I like, here we go, girls, and all the hair and makeup laugh because they knew it. And they're like, let's play Jay's music, and they put it in the trailer, and they'd do my hair, brush it, put my makeup on. But people would come in and out. Kevin would come sit in the chair and get his makeup. He'd leave, and then Will Ferrell would come in, and then fucking, everyone would have to go in fucking in and out, right? So one day when we were shooting that scene with the tunnel, like the spoof on Fugitive, remember when we run? I'm like, and we run, and then Suzanne holds our hands. Will Ferrell's like, and he chases us and dives out of the tunnel. So we're setting that up. We're in a big fake tunnel on the stage, and we're sitting in there, and they like block it out, and they're like, okay, action, and they block out, like, you're gonna do this and this. They're like, okay, it's a little dark, we gotta put a couple more lights up. Just hang tight. So we're all standing around, and I'm like, because I had the song stuck in my head. All of a sudden, I feel someone turn me around, and he goes, it wasn't me. And it was Will Ferrell, and he starts dancing with me. It wasn't me. And then me and him are dancing, singing, it wasn't me, And I'll never forget that, because in my head, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm dancing with Will Ferrell. It was so surreal and such a great moment. So anyway, I wanted to tell that spook. Thank you. Hey. Oh, we're done? Sir.
Oh, no. It'll be quick.
Well, it better fucking be good, son.
It's gonna be great.
I got one too.
No, go ahead.
You were a ghoul before it was cool. What can you tell us about that?
Wait, tell you what?
You were a ghoul before it was cool. What can you tell us about that? For Fallout?
Oh, I was a ghoul, yes. Oh, okay. So I was in Fallout 76. Another video game, I got to play Mort. I mean, there's not much I could tell except I got to go, again, any video games that they put me in, anything, especially video games in general, I'm a big fan of video games. So it was an honor. Like, I was like, thank you. Like, they asked me to come be part of it, and then I thought at first it was just gonna be like a ghoul being like, or something, and maybe be like, fuck off. But then all of a sudden they're like, here's all this dialogue. You're the guy who players have to come up to and explain, like, you got to go to Camp 1 and set up your tent. Don't forget your shovel, So I thought that was great, because I'm like, my character actually serves a purpose, which was great for me, because I thought they were just going to throw me in, which I still would have been excited and happy with that. But it made it even more exciting that I was actually part of the thing. And then years later, we get to do Call of Duty, and we're operators in Call of Duty and shit. And I'm like, Stooge to the fucking Dooch, I see you, I love that. So guys, thank you so fucking much. I'm going to go back to my table. If anyone missed out on a selfie or something to sign, I'm going to go back to my table, and I'll be there for another like 45 minutes or so, or an hour, however long the con's open. Please come see me. Stooge to the fucking Dooch.